Jamie from Solitude Boulevard, and I want to share with you my journey with Lyme disease. So I have been suffering from Lyme disease for about half my life. And I didn't really discover that I had Lyme disease until about 2 years ago. Now, I was very active in sports and really loved playing any sport imaginable until my freshman year of college. And in college, I played sports, but I started getting really sick and suffered from migraines, suffered from intestinal and gut issues. And over time, my body just started shutting down. And I knew that something else was wrong. I went to lots of doctors to determine what was wrong with me. Cardiologists, neurologists, endocrinologists, experts with GI stuff and gut issues. And really every doctor just told me, you suffer from migraines and you have gut issues. But as more time went by, the more my symptoms got worse. So I've been married to Gary now for 3 years, and we've known each other for about 8. And our whole relationship, I've been sick. And like I said, about half my life I've been sick. I've really not known what it's like to be at my fullest potential. And throughout Gary and I's relationship, my symptoms started to worsen. And he was on this roller coaster of emotions and roller coaster of pain that I experienced too. And I hit a point to where my life was so limited that we couldn't do the things we loved. I couldn't go hunting. I couldn't really do anything physically anymore. And that's when I reached out to a naturopathic doctor in the Denver area. This is the first that I've really gone outside of conventional medicine, and I spoke to a naturopathic doctor. On the phone was actually our first doctor's appointment. And we were just discussing my symptoms, and I was telling her my lifestyle. And first thing she said is, have you ever been tested for Lyme disease? And not one doctor throughout my 15-year journey of pain and suffering did anyone say, hey, we should test you for Lyme disease. And sure enough, we focused on really getting my gut and my immune system as healthy as possible. And it took a while actually to get tested for Lyme disease. And it actually came back positive for co-infections, including Babesia and Bartonella. Now, at the time, I had no idea what these bugs or what Lyme disease really even was. And obviously for someone who now that's really been a big part of my life, I've done a lot of research, spent a lot of time and energy and really focusing on getting healthy again. And for those of you that may have the Lyme disease or know someone who has suffered from Lyme disease, you know that it is a roller coaster of emotions. So it's a roller coaster financially, emotionally, symptomatically, and overall it can be disheartening. That's when I really started to focus on getting my life back, and my priority was my health. And we went through currently, actually, I'm still on Lyme treatments, but because I have been suffering from this disease for so long, my case is quite unique. And like with Lyme disease, every case is unique. And that's why it's so hard to diagnose and so hard to determine what the best route and path is for you to get back to normal. And my journey I've committed to, and I have gotten better, and really looking forward to me finally being at my fullest potential. So last summer, I started working out again, and I love being active. I like I said, growing up, I loved sports, and I enjoyed working out. I enjoy lifting, and I have not been able to really do any type of exercise without getting a debilitating migraine or being sick. And after about a year and a half of treatments, and most of these treatments were naturopathic treatments that paired with pharmaceuticals, so meds to really kill the bacteria or the bugs from co-infections of Lyme disease. And about a year and a half of treatments, I started feeling better, and I started actually being able to work out again and do things physically. So one of the tricky things about going through this journey of getting back to normal and healing is it's a roller coaster. Some days are good, some days are bad. And last year in August, Gary and I decided to go out and set up trail cameras and set up our hunting stands and cutting shooting lanes where we go hunting. And that's is about a month later than what we normally do, but I finally was feeling good enough to where I wanted to go out and help him. And I started videoing actually for Solitude Boulevard how to set up trail cameras and why preseason scouting is so important. And the first thing I thought of when we went out there was I need to spray down and I need to protect myself from ticks because I do not want to get bit again. And going through this journey, that was my worst fear. My worst fear was what happens if I get bit by a tick. And the first time that I finally felt well, I went outside and I got bit by a tick. When we were done filming, we came home and I felt it on the corner of my ear, like right on the back of my neck, and I had my hair down into a side braid, and it was embedded in the back, like right where my ponytail, right where my braid was, in the back of my neck. And I started taking my hair out of my braid was when I felt it, and I just froze. And Gary just looked at me, and I just looked at him, and I said, "What is that?" And I showed him mine, and he, sure as shit, it was a tick. That moment broke me. I had been working so hard to get my life back. What was even worse was when I started editing the footage that I was wanting to put together for Solitude Boulevard, I could actually see the tick on my shirt. And you can see the tick crawl up my body, crawl up my neck, and that was the biggest trigger for me. I finally recovered after Gary picked off that tick, and I mean, it took hours, maybe towards the end of the night, I finally had the courage to look at the footage, and then when I saw that, I couldn't edit anything. I couldn't even think about going outside again. And I took several days, and several days turned into weeks. And I hit this point where I was like, Jamie, you cannot close this door of something you love so much because of this fear. And with all things that we do, there is a risk. And I know that I need the outdoors. And I can't imagine my life without the outdoors. So I had to keep going. I was hoping not to get emotional during this. But this is important. This is why I wanted to share this with you guys, is because, and for those that are suffering from Lyme disease today, I want you to know that you can do this. This journey is a long, hard fight, but it is worth it. It is, and I haven't even finished my journey yet. And I know that my journey won't finish. Like, I'm not sitting here thinking that I'll be one day, cured of Lyme disease. I'm hoping, but that's not reality. I think one day I'll finally be able to not have these co-infections anymore, but then it's about maintaining a healthy lifestyle. Then it's about maintaining a good, strong immune system. And that's when you can be at your best. You can be at your best physically and, more important in my opinion, emotionally. And this disease you can beat. So for those out there that are fighting Lyme disease, I want you to know that I support you, and I don't want you to give up, because there are so many things out there, including the outdoors, that are worth it. It's quite ironic that half my life I've been suffering from something that I got, or a disease that I got by being outside. But the reality is you can get these co-infections from a tick and not be outside. Those that are pet owners and don't have their animals on tick and flea protection, that you can just as easily get a tick that way. But the reality is, yes, I am exposing myself more. I have more of a chance to get bit by a tick, but I do not want to live my life in fear. To be able to beat this disease, you have to be strong emotionally, mentally, and eventually you will be strong physically. But the reality is the outdoors has been my avenue for me to be strong emotionally and mentally. That is my gateway. That's my escape. And that's where I find my solitude. And without those moments, I wouldn't ever be able to heal from this. So there's no doubt in my mind that the outdoors is what I need, and I'm not going to let the fear of getting bit by a tick or the fear of Lyme disease limit me from going outside. And I hope and pray that it does not limit you either. Lyme disease is something that I will not let define me. It's something that I've lived with. It's probably something that I will live with for a long time, but it's not going to define who I am. For those of you that are out there still fighting Lyme disease, you can beat this. Keep fighting and don't give up. And you are on your journey to living your best life. Even with the roller coaster emotions that you experience, you can still get through it. For more educational content, subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on Facebook and Instagram. Check out more information, including blog posts and product recommendations at solitudeboulevard.com.